X blocks. It's essentially the same as the X blocks, just is made specifically for 2.5-inch strips, the jelly rollers, the Tonga treats, Bali Pops. I'm going to show you how it works. It's very simple, it's fun, and you don't even have to think about what size to cut your strips. They're 2.5 inches. This one is a pattern that is included in the package. This is the pattern. It's a quilt, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. I would take 3 strips of fabric. We already know they're 2.5 inches wide. I sew them together. I've got 2 seams. Those 2 seams will correspond to the seams, either parallel set on the Basix tool. Line it up just exactly like that. My seams and my lines match. I cut around the edges with my rotary cutter. I pick this up, I just move it down the strips, cut my blocks. Once my blocks are cut, they're ready to sew into my quilt. I would take them, sew them together, taking the block and turning it a quarter turn, just like this, to make my design. And that is the beginning of my quilt. This is the quilt, actually, if you can see it on the wall. This is the pattern. The difference there is I've used 2 different reds and 2 different blues to make my stars. Now I'm going to show you a couple other designs that are fun to make, that we can make using this new Basix tool. Again, we don't have to think about what size to cut our strips. We know they're going to be 2.5 inches wide. Here is a fun block. It's just a 9 patch. I've got some bright, cheerful fabrics. I sew it together. I've got my Basix tool. I set it on here. I line up my seams to the lines, and I cut around the edges. The same thing there. Now I've got blocks that will look like this, and the quilt. That's called daisy chain. I'm going to show you one more that's super fun. Starts with, again, 2.5 inch wide strips. We already know that. I will take a block that looks like this. My red is this part, my blue, and then I want neutral on those sides. So I've got 2 blocks like that. All my blocks will be built just like this. I'm going to place the Basix tool on the block, line it up again, seams and lines to match. Cut around the edges on all of them. My blocks are ready. One great thing about the blocks after you've cut them, they're already perfectly square. You never have to square them up. That is the block. Now, 4 of those sewn together, that will create this quilt. This one uses the baby Basix. It's the exact same thing. Same block made with 1.5 inch strips. I can make every single one of the Basix patterns with the baby Basix. Kind of hard to see that table runner, it's hiding behind there, but that's made with the fireworks pattern, which is what you see here on the table. So that's our new Basix. Again, brand new.